Hey guys, Shamar Brown here. Welcome to the Eagle Podcast Night Talks Season 5, episode number 41. And I want to give you guys some heads up, guys. This is the last episode for this season. And I'm going to let you know that I have a special guest. I know we had a special guest in the last episode, which was called Journey Part 1. My Keisha, she did an amazing job. I've been getting a lot of amazing feedback. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I would highly recommend that you guys go check it out now. All right, before you go into this one, check out that one because it was really good. But again, guys, like I said, this is the last episode for this season, right? And the title of tonight's episode is relationship. Now, when I say relationship, as you guys know, relationship have a bunch of different variations to it. You get what I'm saying? But I'm going at the standpoint of intimate courtship. You get what I'm saying? That's the standpoint I want to go from tonight, right? And I'm not gonna be the one who's gonna talk about it, which I'm very excited about because I do have some experience, but I have a special guest who literally my guy wrote a book. He wrote a book. That's how well versed he is when it comes down to relationship. My boy wrote a book. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I haven't gotten my hands on my copy yet. You get what I'm saying? Because my stupid Amazon account is acting up. You get what I'm saying? But I love the concept. I love everything about the book. I'm so excited about getting it. You get what I'm saying? So I don't want to lie to you guys. You get what I'm saying? Right? I am gonna get the link from the special guests and I'll put it in the comments or I'll tell you guys where the name of the book and then you guys can look for it. You get what I'm saying? Right? And yeah, so let's get into it. Now I do want to give a little background about the speaker before I have them speak, right? So the name of this guy, his name is Brandon Michael. Good friend of mine. I actually met Brandon about 4 years ago. You get what I'm saying? At a entrepreneurial event. And ever since I met Brandon, I like how he communicates. And I was so excited when he was like, "Yo, Shamar, I would be open to coming on your show and share some gems." I'm like, amazing. You get what I'm saying? Because he's an amazing teacher. So before I bring him up, again, I want to give a background about him. But at the same time, I would preference that you guys, re-listen to this. Like when you listen to the podcast, listen to it again. Men, especially for the men, but women listen to it as well too, because the book that he wrote, it has some very key components for women as well too. You get what I'm saying? But again, let me give a background about Brandon Michael. No, my boy, he's originally from the Boogie Down Bronx, right? Bronx, New York, right? He lives in Miami now. You get what I'm saying? So he's been trying to get me to come over there because according to him, that's where all the beautiful ladies are. You get what I'm saying? So, I might take you up on an offer, Brandon. Um, he has a background in higher education. You get what I'm saying? Right? But the thing about Brandon is that, like I said, I made him at an entrepreneurial event, so obviously he has an entrepreneurial background, right? And he also does podcasting. Obviously, like I said, he wrote a book, so my boy is a writer as well too. He does filming. I think the other day I saw a commercial. He posted something on his Instagram where he was referring to giving he was promoting a commercial that he did. You get what I'm saying, right? And like I said, he writes a book, right? It's according to him, it's something that he had in mind, but again, he finally took it up and said, "Hey, you know what? The information that I learned from relationships and stuff like that, I want to help people because he realized that most people, they, as you guys know, they keep saying, I don't want to say this because I don't want it to, you know, get because I know freedom of speech is an issue now. So let me just try to, they say the dating pool has urine in it, right? I don't want to say the P word, but the dating pool has urine in it. So basically, Brandon noticed that, and he's like, you know what? I want to do something about it. So he wrote a book. All right. Now, again, guys, I would recommend you guys, again, re-listen to this episode. I would recommend that you guys go check out his book, especially you guys, especially. Let me get the title. I think I mentioned the title at the end. I'll tell you guys the title at the end, but I want to bring up Brandon. Brandon Michaels. The floor is yours, man.
My name is Brandon. I'm currently residing in Miami, Florida, but I'm originally from the Bronx, New York. Today, I'm going to be talking to you all about courtship and relationships and some of the things to look out for when you're trying to build a special partnership with somebody. Around 2024, which is about probably like the same time last year, I did release a book called To Court a Butterfly, which was like a men's guide to courtship and the art of pursuing. But I really want to talk about today is the understanding from both parties and what goes into it to actually make it a beneficial partnership and experience. The reason why I feel like this topic is important is because I feel like a lot of people want to be loved, but they don't know how to be loved. They've either experienced trauma or they had bad experiences, and now as they're trying to navigate, they don't know if they could trust the next person or if they have the healthy habits to actually be loved on by a certain individual. But that's what I want to talk about. And that's pretty much why I made the book. When I made the book, I didn't just do it for people that were interested in courtship. I did it for people that were also 50-50 about like, do I want to settle down? Am I ready to settle down? Let me start asking these internal questions with myself. But then also for the people that were like, I still want to be in the streets. I still want to have my fun. But I still told them to read to the end. Because if you still have that feeling and at the end of the book you still have that feeling, then cool. But if at the end of the book, because of some of the things I talked about, you're now like, you know what, this is actually gearing my mind in a different direction, I think it was important for them to read as well. So I just want to go over some of the overviews, and these are, I feel like, our 7 main points that people should be conscious of when they're attempting to do courtship, relationships, and just get invested in love again. So the first one, let's start off, and if I'm looking down, it's because I have these written down and I have my notes, but I also want to make sure I'm articulating exactly what each of these pillars mean. The first one is checking yourself before walking through the door. What does that mean? A lot of times people are pursuing people without actually knowing if they're ready for a relationship or a situationship or if they've done the necessary work to be a better person, right? There's a lot of times when people are jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship. And while I get that you want that company, you want that affection from somebody, are you going to keep hindering relationships if you're not doing the necessary work? So the first thing I ask people is like, wait, are you actually healed from your previous situation? How have you grown yourself as an individual, right? Do you still play these what if games? And a what if game to me is like, are you trying to court somebody, but then also playing the what if, like if the grass is green on the other side, like, oh, I want to know how it feels to touch this girl. I want to go on a date with this person. Because if you still have those feelings, then maybe courtship and that relationship is not for you right now. Because I get it, people want to date and people want to experiment with different people and experience different people, but you also have to be mindful that these are people at the end of the day. And if somebody's going to invest time into you and invest that effort into you, you want to make sure that it's exclusive and you have your undivided attention, not you still want to play these away games, but then want to treat this person like if they're the only person in the picture when it's absolutely not. So ask yourself some of these internal questions. Am I actually healed? And if the answer is no, that's okay. Take some more time to yourself. What does that healing process look like for you? Am I still acting like the grass is green on the other side? Am I still playing these what if games? If that's the case, that's totally fine. But make sure you're not introducing yourself to the next person until you get that out of your system. Okay? The second thing is being approachable and knowing how to approach. I think being approachable is you doing the necessary things to make people feel inclined to want to have a conversation with you. Now, I'm not saying you have to walk around in the room and just smile at everybody and be like, ha, 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 ha. No, but it's more so like, are you open to having a conversation? Are you open to somebody walking up to you and saying like, hey, you know, you're a very beautiful individual. Can I take you out? Hey, I really feel like we've been having a great conversation. Or like, hey, I saw you have a great conversation with somebody down the hall. Can I pull you for a chat? Right? It's those things that are very important because a lot of times people are like, I don't understand why people don't approach me, but then you look in the mirror, you wouldn't approach yourself. So that's very important. But then also knowing how to approach, right? As a man, I have to be very conscious of how I approach women. Why? One, their mood. Their mood really dictates how they're going to react to a situation. Two, you don't know how many guys probably approached her prior to you approaching her, and now she's already frustrated because she keeps having to deny these individuals. For me, whenever I'm approaching somebody, I keep it real calm, real simple. I never want to overstay my welcome unless they want me to stay. If I see somebody with a nice dress or if they smell nice, hey, I mean no disrespect, but I just want to let you know you smell really good. Hey, I saw that you have tattoos. Those are some really nice tattoos. How many tattoos do you have? You never want to make it too creepy to where like somebody's like, wait, okay, you complimented me, I gave you a little response back, please leave me alone. Now, if you're engaging in a conversation, you're picking up the social cues that this person is actually interested in the conversation, keep it going. But make sure that you're like not doing things to make you overstay your welcome to where they're like, all right, you started off well and then you ended off poorly. Okay? 3, if you like it, book it. If you have interest in somebody and you're liking somebody, plan the date. For me, and this is my method, I don't ask people or I don't go out my way to approach people if I don't know, if my schedule is not cleared up. What does that mean? Obviously, we have work, we have different responsibilities, but in the event that you do go out to this event, for example, on a Thursday, what does your next week look? Because it takes really quickly for people to have an attention span on somebody. And real quickly, that attention span could be gone. People will be like, hey, listen, it's been like 2 days, you haven't asked me out, you haven't said anything, forget it. No, if you like this person, if you have interest in this person, book it. And that even accounts for when you're in a relationship. Make the time for the things you have interest in. And that could be people, that could be place. If you're trying to learn a skill, you should be booking time to be able to actually dedicate time to that. So for you, okay, what are some things can I move around in my schedule? Are these absolutes or are these things that I can get moved around? This is a preference that I wish I can go to. For example, my job. Obviously, when it comes to a job, that's a set schedule. I work from this day to this day, these times to these times, cool. But what is flexible? Say, for example, I was going to go to the gym. All right, rather than going in at night, I could go in the morning. Or I was supposed to be taking this class. It could be like a Zumba class. Maybe I could skip that today. Oh, I was supposed to be doing. There's a lot of different variables that can be moved around. You just have to put in the effort to move them around. You can't expect somebody to have interest in you if you're not willing to at least show them, like, hey, I'm willing to move my schedule around to at least have this moment with you. So book it. And if you are conscious of dating on a budget, there's a few things you can actually do. Number 1, always ask somebody on the date during the week you're getting paid. And then make sure that when you're planning the date, it comes after your paycheck is clear. So, like, for example, I get paid on Wednesdays. So, if I'm going to ask somebody on a date, I could just ask them that Wednesday evening because I already know my check clear, or later throughout the week. But then also, you don't have to break the bank every time when you want to show somebody a good experience. Remember, like, the more money you put down on somebody, the more they're going to expect that money to be spent on them every single time. And quite frankly, when it comes to an experience, the more money you shell out, you're relying more on the experience itself than the person. So when you're with them, they're not really enjoying you, they're enjoying the environment you just put them in. And now it's the environment that's keeping them happy, not necessarily you. So keep it simple, right? And work your way up to those little things until this person is your partner or just somebody that you really want to take serious. But now when this is your partner, you still want to do the little things and you want to make them add up, right? Because at the end of the day, they're going to get in a relationship with you, not the things you can offer. Now, there are some people in here that are like, hey, I like what you can bring to the table with me, and that's why I'm with you. But those relationships don't really last, or they're very transactional. So make sure that you're taking the time to like, hey, I'm doing things where it forces me to actually put my engagement in there to where she has to enjoy it by me being in the picture as well, not because of the environment around. Okay? Next thing, it's the little things. Little things add up to big things because the little things that count. Whenever you're having conversations or you're getting to know people, you want to be able to make sure that you're remembering things that make them feel special or things of remembrance, right? For example, we have birthdays, we have anniversaries, but also think about if she's in school and she's about to graduate, or hey, she has an important test coming up and it's on Friday and she's been studying really hard for it. Do you remember to just give her that little pep talk on that Friday morning and say, hey, good luck on your exam? Or do that follow-up and be like, hey, how did your test go? Say, for example, there's a significant day for her where her grandma died or her best friend is no longer in the picture or something just happened in her life to make it feel like it's an impactful day for that individual. Do you remember those things? Do you keep tabs of those little things? One thing I used to do on my phone was when I was dating people and when I was engaging with people, I would go into my notes and I'll jot down different notes. and I'll have a whole tab of different notes as we're having these ongoing conversations. So if we're driving past something and she's like, wow, I always want to try that restaurant. Oh, I like this. Oh, I like that. Oh, this is my favorite song. I'm taking these mental notes, and then when I'm to myself, I'm writing these notes down. Because now at least I know when they're in a funk or when they're in a mood or when they need a little like, I know exactly how to please that because I've been taking notes and I've been listening to what they had to say. Which leads into my next point, which is about having intentional conversations. Don't get me wrong, people are really attractive. We live in a world that has a bunch of attractive people. People have nice bodies, people have great minds, but not all people make great partners. So it's really important that you have these intentional conversations. A lot of times, the reason why relationships turn sour is not because the people are bad, it's because you had two people that didn't fit and they're forcing the fit to happen. And because of the fact that they're so frustrated with each other, they're like, yo, why is this not working? Now I hate you. It doesn't have to get to that point. There is going to be somebody out there that's going to love that individual. That doesn't mean it has to be you. They can make a great friend, but not a great partner. So when it comes to these intentional conversations, ask, hey, what are your thoughts on marriage? What are your thoughts on kids? What do you think about different aspects that are important to you and vice versa? If you see throughout the entire night that you're like, hey, this is actually not working out for me because I think we just have different views and I don't want to change you and change the person you are, that is totally fine. People respect honesty, right? If you're going on a date with somebody or you're with your partner and at a certain point in time you're not feeling it or you feel like there's a conflict, have those intentional conversations. One of the biggest things about people is that people lack communication skills and articulation skills. They have all these feelings inside about what they want to say, but they don't know how to properly say it because they don't trust the other person to receive it well. No, sometimes the truth can be harsh, but the truth still needs to be the truth. Let people know exactly what's going on so they can at least reflect on the truth rather than reflect on the lie. So for me, whenever I'm having these conversations with people, I'm very intentional, right? If somebody's interested in me and I'm not at that point in stage where I'm like, I'm ready to settle down, I'm brutally honest and I say, hey, I think you're a great person, but right now I'm not really looking for that. Now, that's not to say I just want to be exploring, but due to some personal experience that I've been having, I'm still trying to heal from certain aspects of my life. People can respect that, okay? Valuing their vulnerability. As you start to navigate through courtship and your relationships, people do open up to you. People are giving themselves to you, right? Not like giving, like selling, but they're giving their heart, they're giving their mind, their body, their spirit to you. You need to be able to respect that. And one important aspect that I'm thinking about, especially when it comes to courtship, is sex, right? We're all grown adults here. The reason why that's so important is because, especially from a man's perspective, anytime a woman is giving her body to you, you need to value it because she doesn't give it, one, to many people, and two, she holds, that's her body. That's her values that she's saying, I want to share with you for this particular night, for this particular encounter because of the way you treated me. So honor that, respect that, right? Don't treat it like a piece of trash to where like, oh, like I'm hooking up with this person, I'm going to hook up with somebody else, or I'm hooking up with this person, then I'm going to treat them differently, all right? But in that same breath, when you're trying to value their vulnerability in the sex room, hey, sometimes it may not be about you, right? There's plenty of people out here that's like, oh, I just want to make them tap. I want to make them do this. I just want to pound them to the ground. I want to get mine. How is that beneficial for you and your partner, right? Because it's supposed to be an experience that you guys both share together. And like, wow, you're like a big macho man where you feel like you having this internal cheer going on. Is your partner actually satisfied with the results that's happening? Are they actually having a good time? Yeah, they're going to say they're having a good time because it's you, but how is that actually love? How is that actually respect and value for one another? Because like you just view me as like a badge of honor. So respecting that aspect. Respect people's comfort level as well. You know? Even if you're outside with somebody and she's like, hey, come over to my place. Hey, you guys are starting to get it on, and she's like, hey, I'm not really on that. Leave it alone. Okay, no problem. I respect that. I'm not going to force you to do anything you don't want to do. But then vice versa. If you're going somewhere and you don't feel comfortable or like somebody's pushing up on you, walk away. As a man, for example, I don't drink. I don't smoke. The moment I see somebody is heavily influenced and they're approaching me, I already know that this engagement is going to be short in terms of what we're going to be doing tonight. So if I have a partner, if I have somebody that I'm courting and they've been drinking, no, we can't do that tonight. respectfully, because I don't know if you're in the right frame of mind to actually be able to want to do this, or you're just doing this because you're consumed with all the toxins and chemicals that's going on in your brain because you're intoxicated or you're high. So I respect you in that aspect. Okay? And then the final thing is the future is great, but how are you treating them today? A lot of times the issue with people and the reason why things don't last is because we are so far into the future of like how we're going to turn out, how our relationship is going to be, that we forget the little things along the days. Like, how am I treating you today? Okay, we just had this nasty argument, but I know a year from now we're going to be together and married and stuff like that. But then the day after, we're having another argument. But I still envision that next day. How does that make sense? For me, sometimes when people ask me about my future with an individual, I say, listen, right now my goal is to treat you every day by respecting you, by valuing you, and give you the absolute respect that you deserve. And then I want to duplicate each of those days every single day, so that it leads up to a year, and then those years lead up to decades, and so on and so on. Because when we're so focused on like the end goal, we start to forget and be negligent to the little things and the day-to-day stuff. You know, and you see it all the time, right? In school, I want to graduate. I know when I get out of here, you know, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be an astronaut. But then you realize you're only still a freshman. So while yes, in theory, like that should be a goal, and you want to keep your goal in mind, make sure you're doing the daily habits to actually make it worth it, and it's hitting that trajectory mark. So I appreciate you all like really listening to this conversation and having a conversation with me, because I think it's very important. You know, I see a lot of times people are like, I hate love, I hate love, I hate love. And I'm like, you don't hate love. You just hate the person that once made you fall in love. And because they treated you so badly, you now feel like you never want to experience that again. But everyone wants love. Everyone wants a companion. Everybody wants to know that, hey, somebody out here actually values me. But it's a two-party dance. One, we have to make sure that we're actually doing the necessary work for ourselves to be able to make sure that we're developed individuals. Two, we need to have emotional intelligence. Do you actually have the tolerance and the skill sets to navigate a conversation with somebody where they can explain their frustrations or their concerns without you taking it personal? And then the last thing is like, hey, what is stuff we're fighting for you, right? Not every argument is an argument. Not everything has to be a big deal, but then it's also like, is this person that I'm fighting for actually a match for me? Or we just have like a certain bond together to where I'm trying to make it make sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't let it make sense. If it makes sense and there's just things you have to work on, fix on that. But we're not trying to force a fit here. We're trying to get you loved. We're trying to get you happiness. And we want to make sure that you're with somebody that can actually build a future with you by doing the little things along the way. So I thank you all. Thank you again, Shamar, for like letting me be able to speak for your people today. And I hope you all have a great day.
Woo! Damn, Brandon, man, damn. Yo, I don't know. I hope you guys ate. Because the guy literally just cooked. My boy just cooked. There was a bunch of stuff that was said, and like I said, guys, re-listen to this audio, like, because Brandon, you said a lot of stuff that needed to be unpacked, and when I heard you through the whole conversation, through the whole discussion, everything that you were covering, I should say, I saw myself, like I saw where I could have navigated this better, I could have done that better, or heck, I was that guy, or I could have learned from here. No, I know I mentioned earlier that it's for men and women, but you heard it yourself. You get what I'm saying? Like the stuff that Brandon covered just now, like literally, it could be the script can be flipped. But men, I hope you guys lean a little bit more to what Brandon was talking about. You get what I'm saying? Now, before I wrap up, because I have nothing to say. I got nothing more. I had a quote about relationship, but I'm like, you know what? Forget it. Let the guy did his thing. The only thing I want to say is his book. Now, I told you guys I was going to give you the name, and I'm going to put it in the description of the podcast. So just look for it. So it's called "To Court a Butterfly" by Brandon Michael. And of course, there's a woman there and some butterflies are there, right? Very, this guy is very creative, like I told you guys earlier, right? Now, the thing about when it comes down to relationship, and I guess this is the only thing I'll say about it, is that especially the relationship that Brandon talked about, because like, as you guys could tell, he was talking about like intimate relationships, right? Um, when men and women realize how different we are, we could like do better. Because I feel like the reason why most people run into issues is because why doesn't she think that way? Obviously, she's not a woman. Why doesn't he think that way? Obviously, because he's not a man. Now, apart from Brandon's book, I want to mention two other books. Now, Brandon book, you guys can find it on Amazon. And again, it's called To Court a Butterfly, all right, by Brandon Michael. All right, Michael, like Michael Jackson, same spelling, Michael, Brandon Michael, all right? Two books. And I think you can find these books on Amazon as well. The first one is Love and Respect, right? And obviously, the love part is for the women. Men, women need love, right? And then the respect part is for men, right? Women, men need respect, all right? The third book is called Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus. Now, that one popped my brain open because it goes back to what I said earlier about how men think differently and how women think differently. And I know Brandon kind of alluded to that, like in relationships, you have to like know how to see if you guys are compatible, because again, you guys are already different already, and if you guys know that you're different, but you have to know if you guys are compatible. Oh my word, like Brandon again, the guy said this thing. Now, like I told you guys in the beginning of the episode, this is the last episode of season 5, and I do want to make a few announcements when it comes on to Eagle Podcast. As you guys know, we're growing, and we're gonna make. I know we're in the month of September right now, but we have a lot of stuff coming up. You get what I'm saying? We're working on a men's group chat, right? A men's community for men. You get what I'm saying? Because I was having a conversation with two people. One, and we talked about like, hey, like women have a bunch of communities. You get what I'm saying? And we also here at Eagle Podcast, we also partnered up with Cool of the Day. I know you guys remember my Keisha, right? Cool of the Day podcast host, my Keisha. She has a women's group on Facebook where we're partnered up with her, where we can open that up to women. But here at Eagle Podcast, we're working on a group for men as well too, because we realize that most men don't have a community of men to talk to and to communicate with and to build with. So that's in the work, right? And yeah, we have a bunch of stuff coming up. I won't share everything yet until we get into season 6, right? We're gonna have a lot more guests on the show, like we said, like we talked about before, and I really appreciate you guys for taking the time out to listen to this episode. And because of you guys, we're getting close to our goal of impacting 1,000 people like this year because of you guys. So again, if whatever Brandon covered today, if it stood out to you, again, leave a comment. I know he talked about the 7 points. If you want to get like in depth context of those 7 points, again, get his book, right? In it, he covers everything in depth. All right. And yeah, guys, um, Eagle Podcast, Night Talks, Shamar Brown here, signing off. Good night, guys.